What's up, YouTube? Today we're going to take apart the stator and put in a new lighting stator so I can power all the lights and all this stuff right now. Right now I'm using a battery and it's good, but I keep toasting the batteries, so I'm going to switch to the stator and get to it. So this is how you take off this center bolt without having a impact wrench, at least my method. What I use is a flathead screwdriver and a 1/2" 14 socket, and I go right here where this little part touches and senses the magnet, and I go underneath, lodge it so it won't go anywhere, and then turn this here. Usually breaks it, works pretty well. This is my method of taking off the center bolt for the flywheel without a impact. You're definitely going to need a flywheel puller to remove the flywheel itself. These are not that expensive. They're like 12-13 bucks, and they go this part is opposite threaded and this part is regular threaded, so it's lefty tighty. Just thread this, keep going, and the flywheel will come off. And there is the stock stator coil. So now we'll take the stator coil off, loosen all these, remove these, and replace the entire thing. So once you take all these bolts off, these are all 8mm bolts. This whole thing will slide off. You're going to use these two original bolts. So you'll take those out. You're going to use those, and all this stock coil you can put to the side for now. Okay, so we're going to try to match the orientation as best as possible. And it goes like this. So I'm going to put these two bolts back onto the trigger coil. The trigger coil is this guy right here. So on your stator you have this. This is called the trigger coil. So every time that little piece of metal passes by here, it creates that spark, that electricity, and turns that into a little bit of power. So you're going to bolt this up. And all it really is this piece right here, which helps press down the wire behind it so it doesn't get caught when the flywheel rotates. It's kind of out of the way. And the next one is the same thing. It's the upper part, and again, what it helps do is keep the wires from being struck by the flywheel and possibly, you know, cut the wires and totally stop the bike and ruin your fun. So make sure you are putting all those back in the proper way, so you don't have any issues. So right now I'm just trying to make sure there's enough slack, so when I add the little wire guard there, it's not going to be affected. So this one's grooved here, has this little lip, so you know exactly where to put it. And I'll tighten all these down to spec. Just want to make sure everything's in place properly. Now once all that is bolted in and you have it securely done, so when you put the flywheel back on, you'll see that groove there. That groove needs to go over this little key part right here. So pretty self-explanatory as far as where it goes. And now the one thing that you will have a little bit of a fight with, or you might have a little bit of a fight with, is going to be actually putting it on, since these have a lot more copper on there. The magnet, it really gets magnetized. So lining it up before and there you go. Once you feel it slide in, you'll be good. Then you'll go ahead and put your spacer back on. Your bolt back on. And then this, you're going to torque all the way on, and it's going to press that flywheel all the way back till it's secured and tight on there. So again, since I don't have an impact, again, I'm just going to use a screwdriver, flathead, and my 14mm 1/2" drive wrench. And I'm going to lodge this underneath till it grabs. Now that that's put on, we can put the cover on and get to wiring the rest of it. So again, just to remind everybody, you're going to have 2 8mm bolts, or 3, depending on what cover you have. One down here, one up here. You remove those. Once that comes off, you will use a 14mm socket or something that's going to go on here, or use a 14mm socket and an impact and save yourself a lot of trouble and just pull the trigger once, comes right off. A lot easier than what I did right now. Once this is off, you'll have a whole bunch of 8mm bolts all holding this together. One 8mm bolt up here holding this little guard in place. Another 2mm bolts right here holding this down and a guard in place underneath, so this does not get chopped up by the flywheel. And lastly, you're going to have 2 other longer 8mm bolts that go right through the coil, and that actually will mount this on to the stator plate. Then, once you've replaced it, put it all together, you can start putting it back to get it ready to make sure it runs properly. I really appreciate you guys watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe for more. If you have any questions on what I've done with this build, comment below, and I will share all my tips and tricks, everything that I know on taking these apart and you know, replacing your stators. And also, the next few videos we'll be doing wiring for lights and prepping up your crf50 to be street legal. So thank you again for watching. I really appreciate it. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.